Welcome to Movie to Beer, everybody. This is Dan bringing us in, and we have a wonderful historical autobiographical drama that we're going to be talking about tonight on the podcast with some wonderful friends.
This is an No, it's based on a novella.
Which is autobiographical.
No, this is just a short story that somebody wrote.
Are you our novella expert?
No, I wasn't.
Who are you, and why are you saying that?
I'm your steam-powered chainsaw. No, I'm your steam donkey expert. I'm your steam donkey expert.
And
if you know what I mean.
And what is your name, steam donkey expert?
Well, I don't. That's not my expertise. I don't know.
All right.
I'm Aaron. I'm your steam donkey expert. We've already got the conversation and the beer started, dear listener. Sorry, we'll catch you up. I promise we'll catch you up.
We'll be caught up like the protagonist in this film. I'm Blake, your Lorax expert.
Lorax.
He speaks for the trees, and the trees had a speaker.
They did.
We'll get into that later.
They did.
Hey, everybody. This is Brian. I'm your double-bladed axe expert.
Double-bladed axe.
Blasphemy.
That means there's two sides?
Yes,
that's too technologically advanced.
So two technologies to take trees down, and then trees as the third expertise.
Yes, there's a lot of felling or falling.
Who are you?
Is it felling?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Voice. Are you the watcher?
I'm the watcher.
Are you a Watu?
I'm the narrator.
Did you? Well, you always say this is Dan bringing us in.
Dan bringing
we have a great show for you tonight.
So what is the film we're going to be watching tonight?
And
what are the beers?
All right, so Train Dreams.
The third thing.
Which is an amazing film, which is based on a novella.
25 film.
Correct. It's focused on the portrait or the life of Robert Granger, not to be confused with the company, who was a logger and railroad worker.
Get things done.
Yes, they do.
No, as someone who works at IKEA, that triggered me a couple times.
It's a thing.
What triggered you?
The name Granger, we have to order our shoes to them.
Yeah.
They're fine.
It's a real
whatever.
thing. Okay. So this takes place in the late 1890s to the
1968.
1968 is when he passes.
Spoilers.
So the first portion of the
there's
film,
widowmakers and bad things that happen.
You can't spoiler a man dying from age.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Dan just did.
I mean, you can.
No one ever dies in this universe.
What?
So there's a lot of discussion going on right now about are films like this going to be able to be made anymore because of consolidation of media companies?
Well, no, that was
hold on.
That was
Hold
a drunken
hold on.
ranting by Blake.
Let's
cannot
back
have
up.
a discussion.
There's a lot of really interesting things going on in
there
this
isn't.
film.
Dear listener, please bear with us. This film follows the life. A short novel was written, and the film takes the story of Robert Granger. He's our protagonist.
If I may, played by Joel Edgerton.
To great effect. What a fantastic portrayal and performance.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
And so we had a couple of beers. One was actually obtained by...
Okay, listener, you don't get to know what the movie's about.
No, we'll talk about that in a second. I have to say what
Dan's a producer. We don't get to do anything we want.
It's all good. The first thing was from Ghost Town in Fort George, called the Body Bag, West Coast IPA. And because there is some death in the film, we couldn't get around that. We just accepted it and moved on.
So what's the next one?
And the second one was from Montavilla Brew Works called Peregrine, and this is Palo Santo Wood-Aged Porter, which was a slow sipper and really interesting. I have a lot to talk about with that one. The first one, not so much. So
we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. First, we're going to talk about this crazy, interesting film. So this came out in 2025. It is available out on Netflix right now, I believe. It is
give us a Netflix boom.
It is a historical drama based on Dennis Johnson's novella. It follows a lumberjack, Robert Granger, who's played by Joel Edgerton.
It says here Grainier.
Grainier. Yeah,
G-R-A-A. Sorry.
G-R-A-N-I-E-R. Yeah.
G-R-A-I-N-I-E-R.
Grainier.
Granger.
There's no G in the back half, but I'm just sorry. I'm looking at the IMDb to get the names right to talk about all the actors. They did incredible work in this.
There's some amazing actors, and I think all of them probably jumped at the bit to be able to do something without a lot of special effects. There's zero.
Let me just go ahead and just say the top ones. For whatever reason, Clifton Collins Jr. is credited second on IMDb. He did great, but he has one scene.
Yeah.
Felicity Jones playing Gladys Grainier.
William H. Macy has.
William H. Macy is further down this list. Alfred Zing, H-S-I-N-G, Sing?
Sing.
Just lose H.
The Chinese railroad worker.
Mm-hmm. John Patrick Lowry played Mr. Sears. Paul Schneider, who I forgot was in this, was Apostle Frank. the preacher. He was in a season of some TV. Boy, so many great actors, and I just right here they all look the same.
Okay. Yeah. So
it's well acted. It's incredibly well acted,
but also very good costuming.
Agreed.
A very good scene and location. But I think the thing that's really noticeable, that's especially well done with this film, aside from acting generally, the score.
See, I feel like I only heard score in like one or two scenes, and a lot of it was just
it was
silence
to
enhance how
continual throughout.
Yeah, it was wall to wall, but
I didn't catch a lot. I didn't catch a lot of it. I
really supported the film.
I mostly locked in on the scenes where there's not a score, and we were watching the actors really act, and I was just entranced and thinking, boy, there's just the sound of nature around them, and they're feeling their feelings, and now a soundtrack. I just didn't catch a lot of the music.
Well, it really talks to the hardship that people who were working physical jobs, and this does talk about industrialization and the railroad, and then what that meant to the early, coming of America, the 1920s through 1930s, and then once World War II happened, and the amount of lumber they needed and why it got ramped up.
It more just focused on the one man story, and that was just incidental things that happened around him. We noticed them through his life story, but it was really just about how he dealt with it, and we got to see it through one man's eyes.
The lumber industry and the opening or exploitation of the West, depending upon what perspective you're going to take. We see it in the way that it impacts Robert Granger. Like the film doesn't give us lots of examples. I don't think it's like a treatise on the effects of
industrialization.
But it's the story of one man who's absolutely impacted by this, and who I think even more than technological change, he's impacted by loss.
Yeah, part of the reason he's out of sync is because of a massive loss.
Well, the beginning of his story is loss.
He never knew his parents, right? Like he didn't.
Yeah.
Like we meet him not knowing his parents, being put on a train, which just says Fry, Idaho.
And then in the middle of his life, he has other important relationships that are also lost. And in the end, there's somebody who just drifts into his life for like a day. He feels that loss for years also.
It really was only a day. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What an incredible film.
So this is a person who is very isolated, who's made a number of sacrifices to go for remote work, not the way that we think of it now.
And
today.
This is a time where remote work means you do not. If you have a spouse, you do not talk to them
remotely.
You don't see your spouse until you get back. There's no texting. There's no letters. There's no.
You are in old growth forest for 6 months with 35 other men,
just hoping your spouse is okay.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
And then when you come back, you have this nice big fat wad of bills, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't realize."
And the child you had together is now like 2 years old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is. So part of it, I tried to think about the time jumps and how long there was. It just completely skips the impregnation and then the birth. And there's like a 4-year jump because
that was not a 4-year-old. That was a 2-year-old.
2-year-old.
But this film has a loose relationship.
I have thoughts on the jumps.
This has a loose relationship with time. Like you'll have a scene that will sometimes span like half a second, and then you'll have a scene where between that scene and the next scene, it could be a couple of years.
Well, I feel like that's just a way to give us the key moments of a person's life, because we really get to see. Because there's what were we saying? 6 months in the woods doing the work, we see 2 to 3 key moments,
right?
Either dramatic or gentle or calm or whatever. We see key moments in this person's life because it's following this person's life. When Dan told me about this movie, he says, "No, there's no plot to it." I'm rolling my eyes like, "No, I don't want to see a movie with no plot."
It's a
story driven,
simple plot.
It's following a man's life. But that's a plot.
Okay, going back to the point about the loose association with time.
Yeah.
If we concede that this film is based on an autobiography,
it's not.
Well, it's not about cars.
It's a novella.
The novella is written as if it's a remembrance of a life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you look back at your memories from the end of your life, it's a set of images without context. Exact time stamps,
like collections of scenes.
So this film kind of mirrors a reflection from one's end of life.
So it's like a montage. It's just missing the Hall & Oates.
Right. It's missing.
All right, Dan, keep it up.
Score.
Correct.
Oh, it turns out we got struck for it. We can't play that song anymore. Yeah. No, but that's why I like it. I like one of the key scenes that made me realize this was when he meets the person who's going to that like watch, the outwatch when he's much older, running the old timey lift
or a service.
It's a fire lookout station.
Yes. So when he's running that, and we see we see him
watchtower
pick her up, drop her out, and we get a long moment of her like talking about what she's going to do, and then cut to months later when he swings by. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
Like the way that they cut to what really matters for this man's story. Now, story in general needs like ebbs and flows and valleys and peaks and all that. But for a person's life, there's moments.
Yeah,
like Brian was saying,
it's a slice of life.
It's a slice of life. You get scenes. Looking back on my life, I just have scenes of what happened. I don't have the interstitials of brushing my teeth, going to bed, making breakfast or anything. It's just
skipped some of that, but they did include a few little snippets of that, like him trying to wash himself after he saw somebody die, and he's like, "I need to wash it off." It's just like
the film is full of moments like that.
It is, and I applaud the filmmaker and the story and the visuals and all of the beautiful cinematography.
Director and writer of the script, Clint Bentley.
Yeah. He's done a few things.
And who was the director of photography? Because that was amazing.
Yeah. And the person they worked with for the score was, we did look that up, and it's just like, you did an amazing job. And the person is known for mixing kind of classical horns and that backgroundy kind of sound.
Well, it's almost got
with
bluegrassy
kind of stuff. And going back and forth between that during that time frame, depending on the scene, and like Blake said, it's like he didn't notice. I didn't either until the second watching, and I'm sitting here going, "Oh, it's through the whole thing, and it's amazing." Yeah. That French horn works.
To butt back in, the director of photography for Train Dreams is Adolfo Valesso.
All right.
He collaborated with Clint Bentley. Movie's distinctive naturalistic look. Using a lot of natural light. There's maybe one scene I think Brian called out that didn't have natural light, but it seemed like for the most of this film it was filmed on location.
Even that scene, it was a nighttime scene. It was intended to feel like it was lit by firelight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Outside firelight. So everything's black except for what you can see on them.
I loved
and beautiful framing throughout. Yeah. I mean, I would really call out. They waited for moments of golden hour for sunrise, sunset.
Yeah.
Their framing was extremely intentional.
Yeah.
There were characters that were open, and they were open in the frame, while other characters were closed off, and they had
very tight
and
glass panels in front of them.
Glass panels, framing crosses out across them.
Right.
Just really amazing.
I mean, if you've never seen this movie, just watch Robert. Just make sure you see where Robert is in any scene at any point.
Yeah.
It's just so, even if he's such a good actor, but just the framing around him is so key. That doesn't ruin anything about the movie. Just watch him.
This movie succeeds, though, I think, at an emotional level. Like, everybody is going to be really cheering for the protagonist.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There might be ways that you potentially identify or understand the protagonist. Like, everything that person
nothing
does.
else.
I would say in a lot of instances, you feel what the protagonist is feeling.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
On a very human level.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to, like, you identify with the protagonist and you're cheering for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, legitimately, there are moments where it's exuberant and joyful and very, very happy. And then there's moments of this film where, listener, you're gonna feel a variety of emotion.
Really bad.
Because there are parts of the story that are painful.
Yeah, you are going to be taken to your own grief.
I would almost argue
wherever it exists.
Yeah. Apologies. I would almost argue with Aaron. I'm not sure if you'd feel exuberant. If you're following the main character, he's always pretty reserved, except for some really grief-filled moments. I feel like it was a very tamped down, very low key movie, except for heights of grief, and then just.
No, he had moments he was really, really
There's some
happy, and like in
inspiration.
some domestic settings where he was happy and connected.
I think I saw those and thought I was just more content than anything.
He said, "This is the most happiest point of my life, and I'm going to remember this, and this is how I remember."
Yeah,
it.
I just took it as just very low key content. I didn't think it as like a height of anything. So that's really interesting how we saw the film. I don't disagree with you, but I felt it as more.
All right, we got to fight. Let's take it outside. We got to fight it out.
I'm gonna mute my mic and punch Aaron in the face.
Okay.
All right, we're back from the fight.
So-
Aaron won handily.
So
I cried a little bit.
But the film succeeds by wrapping up the viewer and
agreed.
bringing them along with our protagonist's journey, like along with their life. And some of it, I think, is disappointment at working really hard and doing something really dangerous and difficult, and then seeing how it's
Has no matter.
it's superseded and made obsolete.
Yeah.
And there are ways that our protagonist has a skill set that is kind of bypassed by technology, and they become out of their element.
He talks about that about the train. Like, we were doing our thing, and then the train came. And once the train came,
And he helped build the thing that
He
let
helped
the train
build
go
it.
by.
But
He was
it was
like
obsolete in 11 years.
yeah,
I just
everything
now realized
changed.
that as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm
It's-
not dumb,
it's-
listener. I'm just a little drunk.
It's all sad. It's not sad, and I wanted.
It's all sad and it's not sad.
No,
That's this
it's
movie.
got
It isn't,
peaks and valleys,
but it is.
gutters and strikes, man.
Yeah, there's
That's a different movie.
part. There's
It's applicable.
if you're watching it from a certain perspective, you respect the fact that it's his observation on technology and his environment when the period of time that it's presented in, late 1800s to 1930, 1940-ish, is a lot of the scenes. And then it fast forwards another 20 years because he's just a hermit and no one talks to him. But during the time that they focus,
That's not entirely true. He's got a luggage business or a shuttle business.
a shuttle business, but a horse and carriage.
Yeah, horse and carriage.
There's no cars. There's cars
Okay,
around.
we get a
Horsing-
scene where
but
he
he's
attempts.
on horse and carriage.
Yeah.
I feel like what
It's
helps.
purposeful.
I feel like what helps Dan's point is there's a scene where he sees chainsaws, walks away, attempts a chainsaw, and
And
you
walks
can,
away.
You can just feel like he just doesn't just walk away.
Yeah.
He tries, and you can feel him getting frustrated because Joel Edgerton's an incredible actor. And then another person comes up, hold on, man, does one simple thing, does it immediately, and then he just goes, all right, no,
Fuck this out.
no, I'm done.
He's like,
He just
I can't do
immediately gives
this.
up. Like, it's such a beautiful, simple, quick scene. And I really appreciate how they made this movie. I would almost want to see an anthology of various characters we meet early on. But as we went, I thought, I just want to see more of this guy.
Yeah.
I just want to see Robert's story. This is so good. I want to see the black bounty hunter who came after the
Yes.
guy who killed his brother. I want to see Gladys before she met Robert, Felicity Jones' character. But Robert's such a fascinating,
I want to see
character.
William H. Macy before
Yes.
he was an old wise
When
man.
he was living in Chicago and being a
I want to
deadbeat
know
dad.
the backstory. We're going to quote Kung Fu. I want to see the railroad worker, that Chinese immigrant.
Yeah.
What is my
Why
they
did
made
he
it-
get into his predicament?
I want to see the story that led up to
the-
him. I mean, spoilers being taken away.
the one person trying to save him, he kicked away.
Yeah.
And did he do
Which
that? Not
It
knowing,
wasn't. It was on purpose.
or not on purpose, and was just reacting
I think
because people are carrying him over.
I think he was.
I would
in a
argue with
panic.
him.
I don't know.
I think Joel Edgerton's character went along with the crowd,
Oh, he did. He totally did.
and that was
That's
the
the guilt.
source of his guilt
Right, guilt.
lifelong.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew he shouldn't have done that. He tried,
So,
but he didn't. Try hard
Without
enough.
spoilers here, our protagonist
yeah,
does
I
something that
spoiled
they immensely regret, and it's debatable for how culpable or involved our protagonist was. But this is something that it's very apparent that they carry a weight of guilt for a very long time.
I genuinely thought he was trying to help and just got excellently kicked and gave up.
He did start trying to help,
Yeah.
he spoke up.
Brian's pitching that he decided to follow the crowd and then still feels bad. But I'm torn on both. I like it.
But
I like both.
But was he like grabbing and lifting to assist everybody, or was he grabbing and lifting to resist?
I thought he was trying to
It's-
resist, but then the
it's
kicks
not.
happened so
ambiguous.
fast. Yeah.
And there's
You
another
don't
question,
know. You
another
don't know.
primary question of this film that's ambiguous.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can even discuss it.
It's how
without
many hot
spoiling.
dogs did he eat? I say 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, were they in Hush Puppies or not?
Oh no!
Oh, no.
I start panicking.
So I'd say, I mean, this is a really good movie. I would say, watch it.
Agreed.
Don't
Yeah.
watch it alone.
There's lots of conversation.
I would say to get ahead of the drinking portion, if you're gonna watch it alone, have like a good sipping scotch or whiskey. Just
or white
sit
wine.
there. I don't think white wine goes with this. Just a good hard
not
liquor. Just sit and sip as you go.
Well, at one point, our protagonist returns home from a season of work and has 2 bottles
of whiskey.
And I think, that kind of sets
as
the
a
movie
demonstration of his success.
Yes.
as a worker.
Because it's not cheap. It is not.
And he also has like a wad of money that he comes back with, and his wife is like, "Oh, this is more than I thought." Because
I love
money.
I love that the visual storytelling with the wad of money, and then later on when things are more lean, he gets $1 and some change. Like, I exclaimed, "Oh no!" It's so visually clear. He's doing work.
Yeah. Well, it explains why he makes some of the choices he makes.
Yeah.
The film allows you to put yourself in his shoes really easily. I think they do a really good job of opening that gateway up to, hey, this is his reality. What would you do?
So
I'd agree with that.
I know we're trying very hard to not spoil anything for our listener because we want our listeners.
We're all very proud of Dan for not splurting out.
Our listener, we're going to encourage our listeners to watch this, but we've also had maybe the worst podcast ever because we're being so vague in talking about
Super
everything.
vague.
Are there other movies that feel like this? Are there other movies that are like watching?
Well,
this?
I joked with Brian that I want to play more Red Dead Redemption because of this, because it also has very old in that era vibe as you play it.
So westerns.
I would say I'd say modern westerns like Hell and High Water. The remake of 310 to Yuma is incredible. It's a lot more action packed than this. I don't watch a lot of movies that are this slow paced and
Kill
just
Bill's a western.
Kill Bill feels nothing like
it's
this.
a martial arts
action
film.
This is
Western.
Kill
You
Bill
talk about Django Unchained. That's a western,
Okay, there
but
we
it's in
go.
the South.
But this also isn't even a proper western either. This is all
it's not.
logging and forest and
Yeah, it's not a
Pacific.
western. Westerns are
I don't know.
I would
dust
say
and
this is a
gunfights.
film about emotional, looking at inner selves.
Would you think
And I would call it a tone poem.
Inside Llewyn Davis? Would that be similar vibes? I watched it a little bit. I didn't see the whole thing.
I don't know that film. I would say I would equate it to a film like Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of the time is fluid, and what's more important is the emotional content of each scene.
Kind of more experiential rather than strictly like narrative.
So this
Right.
film doesn't really
It's
focus
not
on decision making.
plot-driven.
There's no, and I'm going to reiterate, there's no plot.
There is plot.
It's a story. It's not a plot.
No,
He doesn't make decisions.
no, he does. They're all sad decisions.
All right.
Yeah, he
So-
chooses to be sad in the woods by himself for a reason.
Man has nothing. Man has stuff. Man loses stuff. And then what does the person do?
He grieves.
This is man versus self.
This is man
So-
versus self and or nature all the time.
Well, okay, yeah, there's a lot of man versus nature in here too. But
couple of wolf howls.
But that's a good question, though. Is this movie more man versus nature or man versus self? I read this as man versus self.
Say versus self, based on all the interactions he has with everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
William H. Macy's character says that Widowmaker. I mean, it's like every time you put the axe to the tree, you're in combat with the tree.
That man
But
is
before
man
that,
with
you're not
nature.
at war.
Yeah, you're not, but you're not at war. You're just in combat.
A tree is a friend until you.
until you put axe to it,
Yeah,
and then it will kill you.
I'm with you, Aaron. I think it's a man versus self story.
And that is a plot. That's one of the classic.
Well, I agree. Don't
three
look at me.
kinds of
Look at
plot.
Dan.
I'm looking at you for support.
Yeah, I support you, Dan. You're wrong. It's fine.
I don't know.
Hey,
It's,
listeners,
to
write
me,
in and say how Dan's wrong.
this is such a simple story
Yeah, it's very simple.
that
It's a
no one
very
does this
simple
anymore.
story.
No one does this anymore. No,
I mean,
and-
Sinners did a pretty
I'm
simple
like,
story.
there's
By the way, listener, we all loved this film,
it's an
It's
amazing-
incredible.
Sisu.
but it's not your standard
It is
film.
not standard.
Sisu had a very simple story. We loved that too, and it was a very simple plot. This is also a very simple
Yeah.
plot. We love this one too.
I think the visuals on point.
Yeah.
I asked Brian when we started because both he and I had seen this before. I wanted to look at and see if there was a pattern with the hand cam versus steady cam.
Yeah,
and there was no.
There's a lot of handheld shots that are kind of a little shaky
thrown in, and they're shaky. They don't hide it. They're shaky.
Yeah, and there are other shots that are locked off on a tripod, and we could not decipher a reason for the choice between the two.
I have a theory that everyone should shut me down for because I'm dumb old Blake.
No. Please share.
What is your theory?
Share.
Because I honestly was looking for.
We tried. I looked for the pattern.
And changed the microphones in front of us. Now I'm doing a bit.
Wait, do you want me to go with theory first, and then you can come in after and sound smarter than me?
No. You sound smarter than me. That's our usual dynamic.
Oh, all right. Should I go?
Handicam just means we were there in the scene with them. I genuinely think anytime it was like a shaky, handy, like a handheld camera, it was us. It was meant for us to be there with them to feel the weight of like him with his family, of him experiencing something so traumatic that he just can't fathom it, and that it was meant for us to be there. I know
as
there's
a dream or a flashback.
I know there's a lot of movies that do it poorly, like horror. Like the first example I can think of is Cloverfield, where the whole thing's handheld because like, oh man, we're in it. Oh, we're in it. It's fine.
Well, Blair Witch kind of did that.
Blair Witch, but I genuinely feel like they switched to the handheld camera to put us in the scene, to make you feel like I'm there with them. Oh man, I really care about this family. Oh, I hope he does all right, and then just get you invested in it.
I don't totally disagree. I think I was going to approach it from a slightly different angle.
A little bit.
Okay, I disagree a little bit, but mostly I agree. Mostly I agree. And how boring is it that I mostly just disagree? No, I was wondering. I was wondering if maybe it signified like a bittersweet but intense feeling for the protagonist when we had the handycam, because everything's a little shaky, everything feels a little more uncertain, but it tended, when I noticed it, it was like around happy memories, but it was happy memories he was thinking of later on after they were no longer.
I would agree with you, but it was happening early too. Which I remember I'm doing a bit, Dan, but you did call it out early when things were better. So I feel like it was happening the whole time. But I love this thing.
I mean, his whole life is like that.
I would say it was inconsistent. There were some very personal, intimate moments that were locked off.
Yeah.
That negates that reading of the handheld.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was maybe just an opportunity for the filmmaker and the director of photography, and like, this is the moment we have.
Well, we've rented a handycam. We got to use it today.
You're gonna
next 8 days.
And the question is, all right, movie camera today, because this is made really recently.
Blake holds his iPhone up.
I know, and that's what I'm getting at. What did they film it on versus the blocked off shots and the still cam?
Drones.
Which
drone
were
shots.
really
drones all the time.
There was no drone shots. No. I apologize. when he was flying at the end of the movie.
Spoilers.
In a car.
He flew? I fell asleep halfway.
Okay. At the very end of the film, there is a drone shot, and it's pretty. It's worth it.
Yeah, it builds up to it. It looks more like GoPro on a biplane.
On a biplane. It did. Yeah, I don't know. I want to say the cinematography.
Let me call my friend Joel Edgerton. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop.
Hello, you've reached Joel. It's pretty late. What's your emergency?
Hey, Joel. Sorry, it's Blake, your friend Blake from CrossFit.
Blake.
Good old Blake. How are you doing? Speed it up. I'm busy.
Was that shot in Train Dreams at the end GoPro or drone?
It was a drone holding a GoPro. Okay, I got to go to bed.
Can you give me Felicity's number? Dang it.
Shot down. Yeah. There's a lot of really beautiful shots. I kept looking over at everyone and going like, how many days did they wait for that shot with the clouds and the birds? Because that doesn't happen every day. That's a random, and then they're laying on the grass and looking up, and then this is like, you have to wait for the right.
Would that be something you leave a camera for like a day? Is that something you could do? I looked at Brian.
I think if it's digital, if it's film, that would get, I think, really expensive.
No, I mean,
digital. I think this is all digital.
Leave the camera set up and pay a $100 a day guy
to sit there and watch.
And when he sees what you're looking for, he calls the DP and the camera op, and the whole crew comes out and goes, "Okay, we got it. We've got 1 hour to capture this shot."
I love that so much. That feels like a fun version of when I used to work construction every couple of summers. and it would take every dude on site to walk over and go, yep, can't work on that, and then walk away and close up for the day.
Yeah. So, Dan, you've seen this before.
Yeah.
And this was your recommendation.
Brian did too.
Yeah. And Brian and I both really enjoyed it and wanted to recommend it.
I'm going somewhere here with this.
Sorry.
Jeez.
I apologize.
It's Dan's story now.
Yeah,
this
calm
is a good
down.
story.
Dan wanted to talk so much throughout the movie. Now I'm giving him his chance.
There you go.
So, Dan, you've seen this before and you recommended it.
Yes.
What did you love about this film? Because if I had seen this, I never in 1,000 years would have thought this is a Dan movie that Dan's going to love.
I don't want to be mean, but I agree.
Well, it's not your usual style.
It's not.
You
So-
like plot and you like more action.
Yeah.
I do.
This
Loves
is not
robots
an-
punching robots.
This is not an action movie,
No one's making this anymore.
right?
That's what drew it to that. I am
It's-
drawn to the
it's
fact
unique.
that no one is making films like this anymore.
Okay, and
where it
to
is
clarify for our listener here.
6, maybe 7 actors
Right.
that have lines.
So very focused on one character.
And the scenes and cinematography and the visuals of it, I watched it accidentally. I didn't purposely watch it. I was sitting in a room and it was being watched by
It's a movie.
it's a movie. And
This is
I
all the
was
time when I
like-
slip and fall in my kitchen and the movie's happening. Like, dang
I've
it.
fallen. I can't get up. But this
I
is
guess
on.
I'm watching
I was
Terminator
like,
But this is
again.
on Netflix.
I was like, damn, this is really good. This is
Uh-huh.
because it's not all the things that I like.
Right.
It is something
It's slower paced. It's very reflective.
got
that
Felicity
we
Jones.
don't ever. I mean, there's again, and I mentioned this. I'm like, as our previous episode had there are character-driven stories,
Which is my wheelhouse.
which demands attention.
Right.
And this is a character-driven story that demands attention. Like you need to watch what he's going through and understand, and you personify it because you're like, I can understand that grief. I can understand that loss. I can understand that success because it's so simple. And a lot of Hollywood and a lot of the sci-fi and fantasy shit that's out there doesn't focus on that. It's all glossed over and made pretty.
Right.
And a little bit of that is sprinkled in, but this is just storytelling. There's no green screen. I mean, there's some fire scenes,
The
which
fire,
may
I
be
think,
a
might
little
have been-
bit because you don't want that
No, they
big
sent
big
Joel
name
Edgerton
actor
to straight up fire.
in the middle of a forest fire. Because I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get past that. I'm okay with that
He
because
insisted on it.
Even the felling, like when a tree went over in the like that seemed real.
it did very much seem
I
very,
believe
very
that
real.
was real.
There's trivia about that. Please keep talking while I find it again because some of it wasn't.
Okay, so we saw a variety of like old timey lumberjack equipment, like the two-handed crosscut saw that would take two guys
And high heels.
several
a
minutes.
lot of time.
Yeah.
Several minutes to
An
saw
hour
through.
to fell a
And
big tree.
then we also see later in this film, like the steam powered chainsaws that would do the same work in a matter of about 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is jarring at that level of progress and technological
that
advancement.
happens during the main character's career.
Yes.
His
All right.
life is interesting.
The director-writer Bentley has said that only a limited number of real trees were felled during production. Scenes depicting characters cutting into a tree were performed using an artificial prop constructed from wood and fiberglass,
All right.
with visual effects applied to extend the trunk and canopy to resemble a full-size tree. There's your green screen. Follow up on the whole novella thing. Will Patton provided the voiceover for the film.
Yeah.
He'd also previously narrated the audiobook of Dennis Johnson's novella.
Is that Will Patton? Is that the author?
narrator.
The
The
narrator.
narrator, yeah.
Oh, just the
There's
narrator.
the voiceover.
So one of the things that I read about was it's over narrated. There's a lot of background narration that occurs throughout beginning to end. But that's okay. For me, it's like listening to an audiobook. It literally, that's how I interpreted it.
It would be really interesting to watch this film without the narration. If there was a
Yeah.
director's cut with no narration, I don't know if it would hit the same
It wouldn't.
Yeah, probably not.
because it kind of directs you in what emotional direction to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But even so, I mean, all the other elements are so fantastic.
What the narrator, I guess, supplements and fills a lot of
It tees up a lot of topics.
It
Yeah.
tees up a lot of topics, but also things that the protagonist thinks or feels without directly expressing it. It
'Cause
was kind of like
He's a hermit and he's just staring into space.
There's not a lot of dialogue in the film.
And it
Right.
lets Joel Edgerton do what he kind of does best as an actor, which is underact. Like, I love him as an actor, but he just...
it's like
He's in the
lets him do what he
scene.
does best, which is grimace a lot. Like
No, it is.
Grimace
He's-
is a character from
he's
McDonaldland.
he's in the scene
But
you know what he's done. You know how it's affected him,
but
and he just reacts.
Yeah, but like so barely. Like you have to really, like you feel what he's doing.
But it's not undersold. Like it's somebody who
like
kind of like was traumatized in their early life, wasn't socialized a whole lot.
Stoic.
Right.
He's stoic.
He remains stoic.
Yeah. So it's fitting, and it's a good delivery of what that character is.
And he does this for a lot of his roles. I think he's in Warrior, correct? Like him and Tom Hardy, I think. And Hardy goes big. Like Tom Hardy tends to go big, and Joel Edgerton, at least in that film, goes much more held back, much more just
reserved.
I'm suffering inside, but I'm not going to let you know. But you see it in his face. He's much more reserved, is a good word for it. And I think he does that really well in this movie, where he's just like, I'm going to suffer, but man, I was raised to just get through it. Barely raised. He just grew up having to get through it.
He's very private. He's very private as a person.
Yeah.
He's a hermit.
Which we get to see when more talkative characters hang out with him. And the camera literally leaves him.
Yeah.
And then comes back when he's like, yep, it sure is a thing you're doing.
Well, actually, I know what scene you're talking about. There's two characters having a conversation, and it was really beautiful to see the narrow focus and the way that it directed attention. We all noticed. And so I think that's just one of many ways that there's some excellent filmmaking that goes into that. Really a movie that emotionally lands. So listener, I think there are four thumbs up from us here.
Hey, listener, write to Netflix and say you want this in theaters, because they don't like theaters.
Yeah. So
I would say, seeing it a second time, it actually landed harder.
Yeah. So
was it because I was crying next to you?
Yeah, I was pointing out some of the the scene that you're talking about where they're on the wagon going to drop the woman off who's going to become the forest ranger, and it's soft focus. Back and forth, like 4 or 5 times.
Very narrow.
They say what they're going to say, and then it shifts back to the other person, and they say what they say. And I was like, that doesn't happen in today's films. Nobody's doing that. Like I said, I'm like, this is why I'm drawn to this, because this is real filmmaking. This is not fancy.
They're paying attention to the art.
It's not them banging out a movie. They're making a film.
They're making a wonderful film that I think all of us really, as you said, 4 or 8 thumbs up, really suggest you watch.
I thought we got 1 thumb each.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.5.
Siskel and Ebert had 2 thumbs up.
There were 4 stars.
Yeah, we're better than those.
We've twice as many thumbs.
Also, Aaron, inflation means we have to use both thumbs to reflect how positive we feel.
Well, wait a second. Was inflation for money? Sure, but like review inflation is a thing we should be fighting against.
Thumb inflation is a real thing. I would love you to see my fundraiser for it.
Your inflated thumb.
Okay,
is it one of those giant foam hands with the?
I'm so sick.
So I do have a question. If there was
42.
if there was any jumps in the movie from him just not being on a railroad to now being on a railroad and having dreams and having premonitions and things while he's on the train in between his work scenes, what would you have focused on more, or what would you change?
Well, it's hard to answer that because we don't know if he won like the World Series in 1938.
Oh, gee.
Like what parts of the story were left out? We don't know.
Well, read the book.
How can you ask this question?
Then maybe he lost the World Series.
All right. There's one question I want answered.
Okay.
And it was why the Native American shopkeeper sympathized and cared enough to check up on him.
Because I think he knew what loss was and he saw it in him. That's my response.
Well, he worked. Our protagonist worked for that shopkeeper for a while, and I assume they had some level of relationship and friendship that the hermit protagonist probably didn't have with very many other people in town. I'd also think too that Native American shopkeeper was probably really socially connected and financially successful from the appearances of it. And so I would say that's kind of a community leader.
Yeah,
that came out to check on somebody that was vulnerable.
His community.
Yeah. That's kind of how I read it. Like, they're friendly. One's working for the other because it's times are hard right now for one of them. But it was kind of like, they had this relationship and a lot of other people in town didn't.
He said, let's take a walk. And then they shot a buck and that moment really
spoilers, Dan.
Was an opportunity for both of them in that moment in time to find a transition point.
Well, so I think that was the Native American getting some venison for this friend.
Now you're spoiling it.
Who?
Wow. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Like, venison means deer.
Okay.
What I was going to say.
That was an act of generosity. He was doing that on purpose to try and get.
It was definitely an act of generosity. I want to know why.
And to do it in a way
follow up on
that our protagonist would not feel indebted. Like, correct. Oh, this deer was out here for everybody. But he's doing it in a way that's like, okay, he spent a bullet. But what's that mean? It's not like charity exactly. It's like, oh, we're out for a walk. Oh, there happens to be a deer. Okay. Oh, here, skin it and gut it up. It's all yours.
Yeah, but he closed down his dry goods store.
You don't know that.
And he walked 20 miles out of town.
You don't know that.
12 miles out of town.
So what I was going to say was going to support Aaron's thing. One, he probably did, like, at one point, Robert does say, like, I'll pay you back, and the shopkeeper's like, don't stress or something like
Please
that.
Don't.
And
he
also,
says, I didn't ask you to.
Also, I wasn't done talking. The other people he works with are in different states. A bunch of, we made jokes about this, Minnesotans, people from all around the country that aren't where he lives. So he didn't have anyone. All the people he talked to,
his community was far afield.
Yeah. The one of the few jokes we get in the movie is how he worked with the guy who was one of his best friends who he never traded words with, except for, I can't handle this. And he walks away.
Yeah. Someone asked him a question.
He said, I can't do
and
this.
He said, why can't a guy get a moment of silence?
Moment of peace.
A moment of peace.
Which was,
and just stood up and
which
walked.
feels like they took from Parks and Rec when Ron Swanson works with someone for like 20 years, never exchanges any information, and just tells the camera straight up, "This is one of my best friends in the business. Loved him. He was one of my best friends." So he just didn't have a support there. His support was his family, and I'm not saying any more about it, but at some point he doesn't have the same support.
He talks about that a little bit, but it's his family is the people that he's around, and he was surprised how quickly they became his family. In his mind, maybe not their perspective, because there's a scene where that's actually talked about. There's somebody on the crew who's just like, it's just for money, and he's like, but what about him? But what about? And the guy's just like, it's just for money. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
the guy's probably dead now.
Well, I'm sure he is, because that was 100 years ago.
Not the actor, the guy. The actor's probably alive.
The guys weren't real. This is a novella. Is a short novel.
What?
It's a short novel. There was real.
Birds are real. Those guys are dead.
It's as real as Frankenstein, which we recently watched. Like, that was a novel also.
There's a man-made monster running around. I just throw my headphones down and run on screen.
Yeah, the real Frankenstein. I wonder where he is now. Sorry, Frankenstein's creation. He's in Iceland.
Alexander?
Because the monster's not called Frankenstein. That's the
all right. We're digressing.
What do they call
me? We drank some beer.
What do they call him?
Yeah, let's talk about our beer.
So this is the time on the podcast that we're going to switch over to talking about the two beers that we enjoyed during the course of watching this film.
Blake checks out.
And so we watched Train Dreams, which is a current film that's on Netflix, I believe. Check it out if you can. It's superiorly acted, written, directed.
Highly recommended.
Visuals are amazing. Again, as I've said a few times, they're not making films like this anymore. So I'm really happy somebody's trying to still. It's character driven.
Are they making beers like this anymore?
That is a question that yes, they are. We had a couple of beers during the course of the film. The first one is from
Ghost Town Brewing. Was it Fort George?
Fort George. It's a collab.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
With Fort George and some ghosts.
So Ghost Town is Oakland. Fort George, I believe, is Vancouver, Washington.
No, it's not Vancouver. It's Astoria.
Oh, Astoria. My mistake. Because where was Fort George?
What is in Astoria?
Not Fort Vancouver, Fort George.
No, what's in Vancouver then?
Other beer.
Nerds.
Other beers in Vancouver.
Brian got it. Where do we go before we see movies?
So typically we go up and we go to Fort Vancouver. Well, it's
Blake, that's not the beer in question.
I just can't ever remember it.
It's really funny.
I like how you fell for it now on air.
I know.
He's going to edit it out, though.
I will.
I'm like a dumbass.
This is a lot of dead air.
Fiddlesticks.
Let's see if he skips all the swear words he said.
Fiddlesticks.
Okay, so thanks for hanging in there, everybody. We're going to talk about beers now. So we have a collaboration with Ghost Town in Fort George, which is out of Astoria, and I think Ghost Town, I believe, is out of
Oakland,
California.
It says Oakland made on the can.
So this is a body bag And not one word, 2 words, West Coast IPA.
Yes.
This is, I decided to try and do this one first out of the 2 beers. The other one was from Montavilla Brew Works, which is a porter, which you just got to let sit and warm up and be pleasantly surprised by.
Like a tree you cut down.
Correct. A lot of Moasic. This has 3 different kinds of Moasic in it. So, Aaron, is there any copy on there other than the Moasic information?
Body bag.
Sorry. Oak and Ast collaboration. That's it.
That's why I spoke out because I didn't say copy.
So this uses whole cone, which means it's a fresh hop beer. This uses Moasic T90, which is the pelletized version of Moasic, and the Moasic Cryo. So Moasic Cryo, they probably did on the secondary to dry hop it with. Cryo hops are hops that have the stuff that you would normally process with weed. So if you can imagine, they're trying to separate the stems from the leaf, and then they compress the leaf through physical and chemical means to extract out what they want. And they typically have a really good process for that, because cryo hops are, I think they said 3 to 5 times as strong as the normal hop pellet. So you don't need a lot.
Because it's packed in, right?
It's more information, more flavor, flavonoids, or whatever you want to call them.
More reefer, etc.
Yes, correct. Interesting beer. We started with it. This is an 1.5-hour movie, so we kind of sipped it slowly.
1:43 minutes.
We sipped it slowly, and we thought, hey, this is super dinky on the nose. At least I did anyway.
There was a lot of hop in that.
There was a lot of hop.
I loved it. I love hops. I thought it was really good.
I know that there's a couple of people at the table that are not super hop heads.
Don't
and I was
know
like,
if it matched the movie. I think it did okay. I feel like this would have been pretty good for the back half of the film when things get a little more, not dramatic, but just more
complex.
Things are, complex is right. Yeah,
so
I think this would work.
For the first half of the film, like, Act 1, maybe the first half of Act 2, would you say like a hop profile that was more like piney and resinous?
More malty for the first half.
Maybe like a Scotch ale, something like
maybe like more like
kind of sunny,
like a red ale,
good time,
foresty.
I would say like a light red ale, something just soft and malty.
Yeah,
this was good. This was really tasty. I love this beer.
I wasn't sure how piney this was going to be, and that's what I was hoping for. And unfortunately, it was not piney at all. It was more dank, resiny without the pine.
Yeah.
So it was like purple buds, a lot of crush.
Dan, go ahead and put in a sound of a bong rip here.
There you go. So
it sounded like a snore, man.
Not really.
Well, I had to get more spit in my throat. Hold on.
No,
it didn't necessarily go well with the film. It was interesting. It wasn't bad.
What would you choose for the first half of the film?
I would have chosen something less hoppy and more like even just a light lager. Something like a light lager or something just really gentle that you can just sip and pay attention to the film.
Can we find a point to cut so I can do a bong noise?
No.
Oh, I want to try it.
You've been denied.
This isn't movie and weed, man.
But I want it's Foley. Movie and a Foley.
Movie and a flower.
Yeah, there you go. The non-hop heads at the table, I think Brian probably has an opinion on this beer.
Brian punched me a bunch. He didn't like it.
I hate this shit. Great performance.
No.
Dan's swearing so much today.
I've had worse.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was okay, but it was very hoppy and very dank, as Dan said.
Dank. Dan K. Dank.
Oh, you can do that. I can't make a bong noise.
I would agree with Dan. The start of the film needs kind of a more malty, kind of
rounded
golden flavor, because there were some very happy.
There were some good moments.
Good times.
There were sun scenes with flowers.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a romanticized version of what life could be.
Yeah,
represented kind of the way you remember the best times of your life. I mean,
it was the best of times.
Yeah,
it was the worst of times.
And you need a beer that isn't in conflict with that.
Correct. I think something lighter probably would have gone better. Again, so let's step back a second and be like, so the beers, one was selected at Cerveza weeks ago and has been sitting in the beer fridge, and the other was selected at Montavilla Brew Works actually at the brewery itself that's not distributed. And we'll talk about that one in a second. I just grabbing what I had in the fridge is kind of the premise for this evening. I knew, they couldn't be so bad because, Fort George and Ghost Town, who we've had both of their beers on this podcast a few times, do really well. They don't make bad beer. They don't distribute bad beer. Everything is drinkable within the parameters of what you would say acceptable norms of hoppiness and flavor profile and all the fun stuff. But there is always an opportunity to say, hey, how would you change, or what would you have drank instead? And I think, as you guys asked, if you could find something probably less hop offensive, because this was really a hoppy forward beer.
I gotta stick with malt. Like, it's a heavy malty profile, like a red ale. I'm spacing other malty beers. Just, I would like a more just gentle flavor at the beginning, leading up to like getting to know Robert and getting to see his life unfold. I feel like would have worked a little better.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this for the first half. Like, this is a really tasty beer. I love this beer. It may have been better for the back half, which we can talk about when we get to the other beer, which is the back half.
Yeah. So non-hop head at the table, Brian. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, like I said, it was a little hoppy for me. It wasn't a bad beer. I don't feel it matched the film really well
at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and especially
say what he wants to say.
The first half, it was kind of if there was a golden tone to be found in a beer, that would have matched perfectly.
Yeah,
because it was kind of this golden nostalgic feeling, this
old pre-prohibition
romanticized version of what a perfect life could be.
Yeah,
maybe a lager,
a light lager, or sippable.
Well, I guess if Brian's saying nostalgic, maybe something more just to each person. Like for me, like a Pilsner or a lager is more nostalgic. So that's why I drank more when I was younger. I just have more positive memories for that.
Yeah,
and everyone's different. And everyone's looking at me now, and I
would agree with that.
Out.
Yeah, we all agree.
A great opinion.
We all agree. Okay, so Aaron, any other thoughts on this? The first beer, the very hop.
Yeah, we're gonna make it a 3-hour podcast.
It was a fine beer. That's not really to my taste.
No, it's taste. All right.
Get him.
Good enough.
Let him up.
On to number 2.
On to number 2. All right. So a week ago or so, I was over at Montavilla Brew Works, and I asked the server, I was like, what do you guys don't distribute what's in cans? And they pointed me at this one, among other things. So this is a Peregrine wood-aged porter called Palo Santo.
It is a robust porter.
So, Aaron, copy on the can, anything to share?
This rich and chocolatey robust porter is aged in Peruvian Palo Santo wood, which imparts aromas and flavors of coconut, mint, cedar, and spice. This beer benefits from warming in a glass and ages well if stored cold.
Yes, it does. I took it out of the beer fridge about 10 to 15 minutes before we were going to drink it and let it warm up a little bit, because I was like, because robust porters tend to do better at tepid, which is above 50, and we're sitting in a room that's about 72. Yeah, it needed to warm up a little bit in order for us to enjoy the flavor profile. So this is a non-offensive beer. It's sitting at about 6.6%, 32 IBU.
When you say non-offensive, I think you mean good.
Good, yes.
When you say non-offensive, do you mean not the sock flavor that
correct
some farmhouses and sours have?
Yeah. I mean, the socks are intentional though, and they're good.
Right, but it's still a pretty intense flavor.
We drink those beers and we like them, Blake.
I mean, you like them. I tolerate them because
we don't.
My friend.
So some of us poured this into our glass.
Brian throws them at Aaron.
Some of us poured this into our glass. It retained good, tan, thick, foamy. Head retention was awesome, and it lasted a long time. It didn't dissipate or drop quickly, which is good. Porters should have a good head on them. It shouldn't just drop to the sheen.
Good head.
I do like head as well.
I drank mine out of the can like
a Philistine,
like a barbarian,
like when dudes shotgun a beer.
Oh, yeah. This is not a beer to shotgun though.
No, it was a bad time.
The nose has a lot of wood and roasted malt, and there's some chocolate and some kind of creamy characteristics that come across like what's the cocoa
Cocoa Puffs?
Cocoa, not
Yoo-hoo?
Cocoa Puffs, like
Yoo-hoo?
Cocoa Puffs. Maybe
Yoo-hoo
it's
ain't it.
like
Yoo-hoo's water.
sweet, chocolatey,
Chocolate milk.
Yogurt?
chocolate milky kind of. Maybe
Cocoa nibs.
I don't know.
Cocoa nib water.
I'm trying to just digress and talk off.
Melted chocolate ice cream.
All right. So what other
Nesquik.
what spices and or herbs did you get off of this, guys?
Oh, absolutely nothing. It was
Okay.
good, but I didn't catch any kind
okay.
of flavors. I had
Coconut and chocolate is what I
Did
got.
you get any cinnamon or almond?
I
No.
did not get cinnamon.
I
almond.
did not.
I ate like a trash can person. I didn't get any good flavors.
Okay.
I liked it, but I didn't get any specific flavors.
So as an old world style, so robust porters been around a long time as a style, both English, European, and American. This exemplifies that style really well because it's not over roasted. It's got a nice flavor profile that's outside of the roast. So some spices, like I said, vanilla. There's hints of mint, which I got from the wood. I tasted it initially. It's you taste it and you're like, what is that? It's because it's not offensive. It's in the background.
Make sure to check our shop for the Mint Hint shirts that Dan's going to put out.
So, Dan, in a way that doesn't keep our podcast going over an hour and 10 minutes,
Hour and 30.
what differentiates a robust porter from other porter styles?
There isn't just a porter style. There are multiple styles of porter.
An hour, 10 minutes, buddy.
American, robust.
Okay.
There's British porters.
Well done, Blake.
If I can't do bits, I'll die
I
like
know.
a shark.
It's all good. Porters that can be ashy. It's
there
depending on the
main-
roast of the malt.
So there's main recognized styles, and it depends
Yes.
upon how
There's 4 or 5
much,
that are recognized. Yeah.
how much char there is on the malt, like
Yes.
how heavily it's roasted.
How roasted it is and how sweet it is.
Okay.
So the only difference between porters and stouts is the name.
I have the
I'm
definition
sorry to
of
ruin
robust.
that for you guys.
I always
but
thought stouts were like more viscous,
one
heavier
can be more
viscosity.
one can be more coffee than the other. There are export stouts that are lighter than porters.
Well,
I don't like
the
those
issue with
ones.
these stouts being more robust is broken by Guinness, which is a very thin stout, but it's
an
definitely a
export
stout.
stout.
Yes.
It's an export stout that's super thin.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to that.
But has roast.
I want
All
my
right,
stouts
so
to be thick,
Blake has it in front of him.
syrupy.
Aaron likes them thick. Go ahead and drop that beat.
Thick boys. 2 C's.
So the definition of robust on Google, who knows how trustworthy that is? The first one doesn't make sense. The second definition of wine or food, strong and rich in flavor or smell.
Well, I wasn't asking what robust meant. I meant like
I
how
thought
does
you were.
robust porter differentiate?
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
other
I really
types
thought you
of
were asking the
porter?
definition of
There's-
robust.
Now I know why you're making all those faces because you thought I
Yeah.
was an idiot. No,
No,
No.
I mean I know I'm stupid, but I just misunderstood
no,
you.
you
I'm
thought
sorry.
I was an idiot. No,
You're much
So,
smarter than I am.
well, sometimes,
But less
in
smart
some
than
ways.
Brian.
But no, I
Brian's the
was wondering
smartest of us all.
if robust porter is a category. What would we expect that category to be like, as
Turkey.
opposed to like other kinds of categories of porter? That was my question. But we're now.
Well, now I'm sticking to the whole thing I just read off, but there's like more flavor to it, I would assume. Like more just like more mass of flavor and smell.
It
And
kind of
everything.
seems like what it ought to
So-
be. But beer
so
names are weird, man.
12.
You ain't wrong.
So BJCP.
It's almost like it's made up.
BJCP categories.
Listen to Dan.
A robust
Never.
porter. The aromatics tend to be more black malt characteristic. They can be toffee-like and caramely and have chocolate. There could be a hint of coffee in there,
Coffee, chocolate,
but
toffee.
because of what they aged
Yum.
this on, be it a wood that imparts other things, you say, okay, your base style is really clean. It's not offensive in the level of roast and that differentiates it. Again, it's the amount of grain, the type of grain in the roast that it has imparts a certain level of either coffee or chocolate bitter.
like how what kind of sugars are coming
Correct.
along and like
How burnt or not. This is lightly burnt. Black malt character tends to be a little bit more subdued, and it's going to be drier on the finish than a traditional, just standard like American porter or an English porter, or the standard porters tend to be a little sweeter. This I know because I've made both. The robust porters tend to, again, have a little bit more of the dry roast on the front and not as much sweetness on the back. So, yes, it's going to be thin.
I wonder, like maybe the wood aging then is to kind of accentuate some of that sweetness, because
Correct.
I tend to think of wood imparting kind of some vanilla tone usually, not
Yeah.
always, but
and
usually.
and I think the wood that they either added to it on secondary or put it in a barrel that was made with that wood. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what they did, but all I know is It made an amazing flavor profile that was complex.
Well, it was Peruvian Palo Santo wood, according to the marketing.
Slightly shallow, but complex. So you got it on the front, but it didn't overpower the roast. It didn't overpower the other characteristics of the porter. It was very balanced, which I'm very happy about. But the can itself, the can art is just black with some purple text and then a white outline of a tree, which
it's purple background with purple text.
Yeah, that's cosmic purple.
Oh yeah, no.
So nighttime sky.
If you shine it in the light, you see some purple.
If you open your eyes, you see it's purple.
Well, we've got one
so the can art matched the film.
Yes.
Did the beer itself match the last half of the film?
I thought if you let it warm up, it started opening up, and you got a little bit more of that complex flavor profile, the layering. Fresh out of the fridge. It was a little more tight.
I would almost say.
So, would you say it matched the complexity of the emotional content of the
very much
last half of the film?
You let our protagonist warm up a little bit. They open up with their complexity too.
Correct.
Right. I start listeners. I expected football, but Dan edited it out. I would say almost like a different beer for the first half. Maybe this for the Act 2, but for sure Act 3. I think this works really well for Act 3 when you get to see him like kind of come to terms with life and everything. I feel like it works really well there. It was perfect when I was on the verge of tears for a little bit, like because this film's really well made. But I don't know what to put in for Act 2. But I feel like something a little maltier for Act 1, Act 2 ? Act 3 profit,
Act 3 Canadian whiskey.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. They drank whiskey in the film.
Well, listeners, keep an eye out for a
drunk Aaron.
YouTube and a whiskey when Blake and Aaron just get hammered on mic.
And that other thing.
So interesting beer to go with the film. I completely lucked out on this again. Go to Montavilla.
No, this is a really good beer.
If you're local here in Portland, go to Southeast Stark and check out in the Montavilla neighborhood, Montavilla Brewing and Threshold, just a block away from them. They had this on draft when I was there. I tried it, and that's why I was like, I want that in can, and they had it available. I don't think this is one of the beers they distribute widely, so if you're here in the local market, you should definitely check it out because it is a very interesting porter that pushes, I guess you would say, the complexity of what gentle flavors can be, because the layering and how it approaches what it was aged on is just really clean and not crazy or offensive or anything. It's just a really general middle of the road porter that has some really good flavor.
I'm not doing a bit. Would you call this robust?
It is, because it's more dry on the back and flavor up front than what a traditional porters tend to be, a little bit more sweet and then dry out on the back.
So what's really funny about this is peregrine is from the Latin word for traveler.
Yeah.
This beer is not distributed. And our protagonist lived their whole lives between 40 miles of the Pacific Ocean, which he never saw, and 40 miles into Montana. And that's it.
But there's a tree on the...
There is.
Yeah, there's a tree.
All right. One last question.
Famous travelers.
Would another porter be okay for the second half of this film?
Yes. I think any stouter porter that wasn't super sweet or offensive, I think something sweet wouldn't... I let this warm up a bunch. Like, I drink it super slow on the last 45 minutes of the movie, and it just opened up more as it warmed up a little bit. As we've talked about on the podcast, stouts and porters, let them warm up a little bit. Don't get them don't drink it straight out of the fridge or on draft, because it's going to be too cold.
Cellar temp,
48 to 52 is cellar temp, and 52 to 56 is going to be your optimal range for drinking a beer like this, because it's going to start... Again, the aromatics and everything are going to express. If you can let it sit in the can or bottle before you drink it, that would be best, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just pour it and then let it sit. It is going to go flatter because the CO2 is going to start cooking off, but it's all good.
Can we make beer sickles with it? I'm only going to accept yes as an answer.
Yes, you can make beer sickles out of anything, and especially this. I would make a beer sickle out of this.
Listeners, I'm dabbing right now.
It's all good.
Final question that I've got for everybody, and I'll go around here.
Let's go back around. We've watched an amazing film. So we've had some interesting beers.
Final question, Dan, means I did have a question.
Please share.
Yeah, so we're all going to talk.
So let's assume
Dan loves it.
Let's assume you've been out in the forest and you have cut down a tree. What beer do you want to follow that with? What
I
do you want to have?
would drink a beer like this. I would drink a nice, solid
A robust porter.
or a robust porter or a stout, an American porter.
Yeah.
I would look for something a little sweeter, but I'm not a hard liquor drinker, and he went straight for the whiskey. And I'm like, I can't do that. That would mess me up too fast.
So dark porter. Brian, what's your lumberjack drink of choice?
Oh, well, I would.
We're okay.
I would drink a light, very light, almost water-like beer
To rehydrate.
because I would be tired and sweaty if I cut down one of those big ass trees.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's granted.
All right, Blake.
I'm kind of leaning towards stout. Like I was gonna say light, like Brian, but just everything seems colder in those times, and it's just everything seems heavier. There's a who does that chocolate milk beer I like so much? I'm looking at Dan.
So
Sun River does
Coca-Cow.
Yeah, like it's a stout. It tastes like a chocolate milk.
It's a chocolate milk stout.
I feel it, but it's smooth and creamy and like enough body, but not so much that you feel gross. I feel like after a long day of sawing logs and talking to a guy who's talking about the Bible who gets shot by a black guy,
spoilers
would be good. Oh no, we didn't know what race he was. Ooh. I feel like after working with someone for hours, what would they say, like 20 hours, like from sunrise to
sunset.
supper,
until
supper.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'd be my call.
I'm changing my vote. I also want chocolate milk after I cut down a tree.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Also, Sun River makes an incredible chocolate milk stout.
They do.
Cacao something. Oh my god, it's so good.
Coca-Cow.
Oh, it's so good.
It's very nice. A bunch of thumbs up. This is an amazing film.
At least 8.
Train Dreams. Check it out. He doesn't dream very often on the train, but I want to say a lot of so that's the question. How much of this is a flashback versus after he's done logging and doing things in the field and he goes after the fire?
It's a movie, Dan.
Well, I mean, it's like a lot of it seems to be more flashback oriented than not, but right. I don't know. There's a lot of timey-wimey secular storytelling going on.
There's some play with the time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's okay because it's amazingly acted, amazingly visuals, auditory. You hear the atmosphere that he's in, which is really hard to do.
Yeah.
In film.
I would say there is room for reflection on this film afterward.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
All right. So any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Well, listener, this is Aaron signing off. Thank you for joining us. And be careful for any snags or deadfall or widowmakers while you're out there.
Widowmakers.
I guess we're signing off. This is Blake saying, when you're done felling so many trees that it eventually dries up your work business and you have to William H. Macy your way around, drink some water. Hydrate or dihydrate.
Yeah.
And this is Brian saying, keep your axes sharp.
And your X is sharper? Is that what it is?
No,
all right. So I'm going to digress a little bit and say all the opinions expressed in Gave Me This Recording are those of the hosts. And this is Dan saying thank you for hanging out and enjoying this hour-plus opportunity to talk about beers and movies and check this film.
See whatever you want, Aaron. He'll cut it out anyway.
It's for an hour and 10 minutes. So there's
Who
This
cares?
is a great film. It needs to be talked about.
There's a Turkish proverb about what the forest was saying to each other when the woodsman came in with his wood-handled axe to cut down all the trees, and the trees said to each other, "Don't worry, the handle is one of us."
How did you learn that from a turkey?
Turkish.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Wiener.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.